This week, David takes a truck skiing, Chloe learns when sending pictures, context is key, and I nearly kiss a truck. And yes, we fucking know Tom isn't here. I don't want any fucking bad comments, and I'm your fucking host. So let's strap down, let's strap in, and let's fucking do this.
This is just another trucking podcast.
Should we just we'll all just come in and not explain what we're doing? We'll all just give it a go, and then we'll go, no, I think none of us are good for this or something. We'll just come up with that at the end. And be like, yeah, I can't do it. It just doesn't work.
All right, I'll try it first. I'll take the first take. All right, okay, all right, okay, all right, okay, cool. Are we ready? All right. Welcome to Just Another Trucking Podcast. I am your host. And my great, absolutely beautiful friend over here. We have Chloe and
hey.
I don't even know where they are right now, and then we have Rebecca as well. Yeah.
Wait.
Okay.
Hey,
that's me.
that was a good try.
I
liked it.
That was my impression of Tom. Okay, you know let's hear yours.
Go on, Rebecca. Go on. You give it a go.
All right. Welcome to Just Another Trucking Podcast. I am your host.
Come on, keep going. It's actually pretty good.
As much as I can remember.
Tom's quite forgetful.
Yeah.
You gotta be exaggerated. Welcome to Just Another Trucking Podcast. I'm your host, Tom. And with me I have David, the Irish American, and Rebecca.
That was spot on.
New
For
tattoo.
a second there, I actually thought that you were Tom.
I bet we fooled everyone with that. I'm not gonna lie.
I believe so. Well, it turns out that we actually have a replacement host because somebody got stuck in traffic. So we have Rebecca.
Yeah.
She will be our host today. All right. So you're gonna lead us. All right. So is there anything that we need to talk about? Remembering this is a trucking podcast.
Are we putting you fully in the spot right here?
Just putting me fully in the spot. Well, straight up, I had a terrible week.
Okay.
Oh.
Tell us about it.
Oh no.
Yeah. It was just one of those, we start off with bugger all hours, and you think, right, I've been parked up after doing 10 hours in a day. Then you do it again the following day because you've been messed around, you've missed your deliveries, whatnot. Fine, okay.
Yep.
And then I proceeded to do 15-hour day, 15-hour day, 15-hour day at the end of the week.
Oh no.
So I
Do you
didn't
know
get
what?
home.
I've had a week like that. I've had all week has been so quiet. Early finishes, cleaning my lorry spotless. Get to Friday, I've got 9 jobs in one hit. I'm like, wow. Why can this spread out for the week?
I hit traffic twice in 2 different days. So one
What
day
does that mean? You hit traffic twice? Doesn't like you had stop and go traffic twice?
So in the sense of large amount of traffic where I was in it for over an hour kind of thing. We obviously always have traffic over here.
Sets you right back, yeah.
Yeah, but basically,
Southern California here, I had stop and go. There was stop and go traffic every day. There wasn't you know what I mean? So it was every morning stop and go traffic. Like if I was to go, maybe my delivery is 60 miles away. We're looking at 3 hours just to get there, because it's most of it is stop and go traffic, and boy did I need to piss at the very end of that. I had to pull over,
That's the problem, isn't it?
Obviously, the thing is with this job, you obviously learn where to be at what time to avoid certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was heading up north later in the day, but I was going up the A43 and up the M1, which was lovely, great. It should have been fairly clear at the time I was going. I noticed my sat nav wasn't taking me up the 43. I don't really need it, but I have it on for timing and traffic.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's always good.
Why is it not taking me up there? So I had a quick look on Google. Turns out a massive section of the M1 is closed.
Oh,
so
no.
I started heading up towards the 42 because it said 12 minutes of traffic. I was going to go up the 46, but that had 30 minutes of traffic on it. So I went for the 42. I was stuck in that. It said 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes for the hour I was sat in it.
So it just never changed.
I ended up going over my 4.5 hour drive time.
By how much?
Does that mean you can't go over 4.5 hours? Is that right?
No, so we have 4.5 hours, and then we've got to have a 45-minute break. So it's illegal for us to go over 40.
Ours is 8 hours, by the way. Yeah, we can go 8 hours.
Without having a break.
8 hours, and then we don't even need to take a break. We just got to stop driving. We just got to stop driving for 30 minutes.
So
you can do whatever you want.
Working time directive as well? Because we
Yeah,
will worry
so you
about
have
that
your-
as well.
Yeah, you've got your working time. So your duty time, we can do 15-hour days when it's been extended 3 times a week, but 13-hour days normally. But then in that days, you have your drive time where you can do 9 hours, extend to 10 hours twice a week.
Yeah.
But in that drive time period, you have 4.5 hours, 45-minute break, 4.5 hours, 45-minute break, and then you have your last hour if you're extending to a 10. But you've also got the added extra of, if you've worked for 6 hours, you need to have a 15-minute break. You've also got your 30-minute break within the first 9 hours of working.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
It's very confusing. When you first learn, and none of this really gets explained either. Like, you are literally trained to pass your test and get your everything.
Luckily
you're just
I
trained
have
to
my
pass.
dad.
You're not trained to deal with it. You got to figure that out for yourself.
Not. Absolutely.
I say
in
lucky
so many instances.
Well, lucky for a lot of people who have got, like, say, family in it, like for me, my dad, is he taught me everything about it. So I already I didn't understand it until I did it, straight up. Even though I knew it all, I didn't understand it until I did it. It took me so long to realise that you can't do 3 15-hour days and then have 3 9s off just because you've had 11-hour breaks.
Yeah.
I
Doesn't quite work like that.
Well, I had 1 week. I didn't quite understand it. It was like when I first started, and I had 1 week where I done a reduce 5 days in the week.
Oh no,
that's a little more than I can comprehend. There's so much. You got so many rules. Holy crap!
There's so much. Yeah.
There's a lot.
You know, there was actually one time.
Yeah.
There was one time I ever went over my hours. I had 40 miles to go, and I had 10 hours to get there, and I went over. Meaning, as in, like, there was snow and ice, and
really?
It was stop and go. It was stop, and a little bit to go, and stop, because there was so many. It was so many crashes. It was just literally we're driving on ice. All right, and what was very scary, even though I put my chains on, you know, when a freeway a motorway kind of does a little bit of a turn, you know what I mean, just a little bit. When the road tilts a little bit, it kind of you know, like. Is that what? Okay, right?
Yeah, so, it's sort of like a camber round, yeah.
Yeah, so imagine being stopped on that and then hitting your brake, all right? So the trailer will actually start turning. You know what I mean?
So your trailer's like in and you're
you start jackknifing.
Yeah, you start jackknifing. Basically, you start jackknifing.
Oh
all right?
my god, that sounds
so
horrible.
I was literally driving on the shoulder, and it was because I was like, no, please don't hit the brake. Because as soon as I hit the brake, I was empty. And the sucky thing about it, I was empty. All right, if you're loaded, it's grand. It has a lot more traction. But when you're empty, every time I touched the brake, I would just watch it, and it was scaring the crap out of me. You know, it really was. And so I just kept driving on the shoulder. Every time it was turned, I was turning a little to the left. And of course, if I'm turning to the right, it was like that was fine. It would just dip into the shoulder, you know. But yeah, you know, remember now, every time I'm talking, always know that I'm the reverse. I drive on the correct side of the road, while you guys drive on the wrong side of the road.
So regarding like snow and that, obviously you've probably got quite a lot of experience in it, David, driving on snow. So for us over here, it's not like a massive thing that we would do.
Mm-hmm.
So Rebecca, what did you count in the Beast in the East? All I did was I drove a car, and obviously that was my first time driving a car in the snow, and I stupidly put the brakes on and was like skidding sideways down a hill in that thing.
Well, when the Beast Freeze came, I actually had, so I was driving rigids at the time, and one of the IBCs had gone through the headboard of the rigid. It was all rotted wood. It just pushed through. There was 12 of them on there, and the IBC just pushed through the headboard. It was all rotted.
Yeah.
So because mine was off the road, I ended up having a few days off work, and that was when the Beast Freeze came through. So I ended up trapped in the house with my mum and dad, and I quit smoking and got really ill.
Oh.
But I did drive in the snow in an Arctic a couple of years ago. There was basically this load of snow up near sort of Nottingham, Leicester way. It was only up there. It wasn't down south or anything.
Yeah.
It only lasted a couple of weeks, a couple of days. I don't know if you remember it, but it got deep-ish fairly, and you literally went from having absolutely no snow to light snow and then heavy snow, and got up there. I was stuck on a roundabout for an hour and 45 minutes while people tried to go round it.
Really?
But basically, I ended up getting stuck. I was sliding a little bit. I was fully loaded coming down a hill. I ended up coming off the motorway because we were doing about 30 mile an hour on the motorway because nobody could see anything.
Yeah.
And I come off, went to go and get a pallet. Turns out they weren't going to give me the pallet because it's too snowy. So I ended up coming off the road, going up a hill. There was lorries stuck on this other hill. I ended up turning around in the snow, backing into a driveway and turning around. It was so dodgy. And it was the first time I'd ever done it. And I was just like, nope, I don't like it.
Is there? Do you guys chain up? You know, do you put chains on your tires?
No, that's not a thing.
England
We don't have chains. No.
I mean, in all fairness, David, though, the snow you get is like
Well,
probably a lot compared to what we say as snow.
Ours is a
Well,
couple of
absolutely.
inches.
But here's the thing. The other thing to ask, I didn't know that, but you guys actually do have chains because I was in Ireland one time right after this big huge snowstorm a few years ago, and I saw trucks with chains on. As in, like,
I have never seen a truck with the chains on over here.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see it. I'm like, oh, okay, there's one right there, you know. And, and this was like, are you guys talking about the biggest snowstorm that you guys ever you got like a few years ago?
The Beast from the East.
The Beast from the East is what it's called. You guys have a name for it. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I mean, it
doesn't happen. It doesn't happen very often.
Yes, it does not.
We did get snowed in for like a good couple of days at least. It was.
I walked outside, so it was the most amount of snow I'd ever seen. Because when I walked outside, where it snowed and then it had melted a little bit and then it snowed again the next day. When I walked outside, it was like a good few inches of ice across the snow, and when you stood on the ice, it would crack.
It just crunched. Oh, that's so good.
You'd fall straight.
I love
through.
it. Yeah,
my car was
can hurt your ankles.
Frozen. Yeah. Yeah, so I have got a picture of like half my boot in this cracked open bit of ice that's got like the snow. So it covered at least half my ankle, I think.
Yeah, you know, I know exactly what you're talking about. As in, like, what it would happen. Yeah. So basically, usually when that happens, it's raining. Us anyway, it will rain while it's freezing. So when the rain, as soon as it hits the top of the snow, it creates a layer of ice on it. But when you start walking through, it's lovely and powdery underneath the ice. But damn, it can cut up your ankles or your shins or whatever, depending how deep it is. Yeah. It is really
that is
really
the worst
tough.
Snow I've ever seen over it. There was probably worse when I was a little girl up in Yorkshire, but I don't really remember it.
It was fun back then. You don't see it as an issue. That's the thing.
No, yes, go out and play.
The amount of snowstorms that we have, again, like every year they probably have it in the East Coast. All right, it's not quite every year over on the West Coast. Well, not in Southern California, but up in Portland, Oregon, which is 1,000 miles north. Every few years we get some snow. You know, major snow. When I say major, like I'm not talking about just an inch or two, and it's gone 2 days later. You know what I mean? As in like where traffic is
snow
just
that stays.
Yeah, as in like there is abandoned cars everywhere. You know, like it is so creepy when you're actually driving the next morning and seeing all the abandoned vehicles that you
everywhere.
Guys... To be fair, over here we could get a couple of inches of snow and there's cars everywhere. So
oh, literally, it's like panic zones over here. So
I do love driving in it in my pickup truck. I love driving.
Oh no, I bet that's
it
fun.
is quite fun.
I did have a dodgy experience in a truck only a few weeks ago, and it wasn't in the snow; it was in the rain.
Oh no, what happened?
Well, obviously I've driven different lorries over the last 4 years, not a problem. I've driven in all sorts of weather, including the snow now. What I hadn't done is driven a unit with an empty skelly on the back in the piss-pouring rain.
That's light as anything, isn't it?
That was a shock. I've driven it, so it had no container on the back. So it's a container trailer with the chassis, basically.
Gotcha.
No container on it, so it's just the chassis on wheels on the back of the
no weight whatsoever.
And I was already taking it gently because obviously it's raining. I obviously know that the lighter weight is going to make it a bit more skiddy.
Oh, it'll lock up every single time.
Yeah, well, as I was coming round a corner, I was going to pick up a container. I come round this sweeping left-hand bend. And as I come round, I seen two lorries coming on the opposite side of the road. I wasn't driving fast, but if I had, I definitely would have crashed because this was the first time I've genuinely thought, I'm going to crash.
Oh,
And
I hate
I could
that feeling.
see it happening in my head. And basically what had happened is the back end of the skelly kicked out and went out towards the opposite side of the road. But at the same time, my unit lost traction. So I basically had no control. And I didn't panic. I just kept trying to keep it over. And it must have been the ABS that kicked in or something, because all I could see was me heading straight for the driver's side of the other lorry in front of me. And I just knew I was going to crash into him.
Oh, no.
You know, when you can see it happening. And I genuinely thought, if I hit him, I'm dead. That's it. Because
it happens slow as well, doesn't it? It's like slow motion
it was really
happening.
weird. I had so many thoughts in such a flick of a moment. And then the back end swung out, went the other way, kicked up the curb, which was an almighty fucking bang, to be fair.
Yeah.
And somehow I drifted round the corner and straightened up and kept going. And I'm just driving like, fuck.
So all these people around you going, wow, that chick's got skills. You're there like, oh my God.
Total luck. Yeah, total luck of the draw. Because I saw it happening. It's the first time I've ever gone, I'm going to crash. It was no mistake in it.
Feeling.
Like, there's many times where you sit there and you go, oh, I might have, or oh, I've still got control.
Oh,
But
that was a
because
bit close, yeah.
Yeah, I had no control of the trailer or the unit. It just fucked off, and there was nothing I could do about it.
That's a horrible experience.
Wow.
It was not great. That I genuinely was just, my heart was going, and I was like,
yeah,
fuck, I could have died then. It's right, I'm all good now. Keep going. And I didn't even have a fag. I was well proud.
There was kind of going back to the ice thing. I was just, while you were saying it, I was like, Jesus, has this ever happened to me? Where like, I'm going to crash. Okay.
Probably David. It's probably happened to you.
Well, I think usually it only happens right before I put on the chains, because again I used to put on chains constantly. Even in the summer I would put on chains, only because I'm teaching my students how to put on chains, because I learned the hard way.
You get to a near-death experience and realise, maybe this is Chain's point of view now.
I remember the first time I had to put chains on. My trainer didn't teach me how to put chains on. Right? So I learned the hard way. And like, what the hell do I do? It took me like 2.5 hours, 3 hours to figure out how to put one chain on. And then once you get one on and you know how to do it, then it's a little easier to get the rest of the tires on. But anyway, so it was getting icy, and I was like, okay, I'm done for the night. I was going to drive another 250 miles, or like 200 miles. I'm like, I don't need to get there in that much of a hurry. I'm just going to go ahead and pull over and put my chains on now. That way I can I'll have them on. But there was a car in front of me, and he was a good distance. But so we both he took the exit, and then I took the exit, and then he really slowed down, and like, oh boy, I'm getting really close, and now I'm on my brakes.
Oh no!
And like, oh my God, I'm hitting him. Oh my God, you need to go. I'm honking my horn. I'm like, Jesus Christ, just keep fucking going. What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Just, Jesus. And like, and then he, and I don't even know what. Again, I managed to get control a little bit and just miss him to the right. You know what I mean? I just didn't really, because it was a downhill off ramp, and I didn't even. It was just. I wasn't expecting it. Like I pulled. I was doing the safe thing. Like the road was fine. The actual road itself. Like there was no need for actual. I didn't feel like there was a need for chains yet. All right, but I knew the curves. I knew the area. You know what I mean? But there was a lot of ice on the off ramp, and he just. Yeah. It was a scary moment. You know what I mean? And
it sounds horrible.
There was another time where they say not to put chains on your steer tires. It just doesn't. But sometimes you feel. I feel like you. I wish I did. It's just. I had
you need that on your steer though. Surely you need the grip on your actual steer as a primer.
Yeah, just. I've never put them on. I've never seen anybody with them on. I think I might have seen one person with them on, but I think he was a new driver and he was just shitting up everything. But there was just. I don't know. I don't think you're supposed to, because of the.
Okay.
It would. I don't know. I don't feel like you. It's mainly. Because you have enough weight on there, I suppose. I don't know, but I was going over. It was a huge. I wouldn't say an on ramp, but it kind of was an on ramp. But it was really high. It was like 200 feet up in the air, kind of thing, going over a few different freeways, And we're all crawling, but sometimes when you're crawling, you lose control a little bit. And I was heading towards the embankment or the concrete barrier, and it was just like I'm fully chained up. All right, I've got like all the chains on, except for the steer tires, and like that was heading down the ramp, heading down towards the freeway. It's just so scary. And actually,
Yeah, I can imagine.
I think half an hour before I actually did that, I called my boss. Yeah, I think I'm quitting. I think I'm done. All right.
Wow.
Seriously,
Yeah,
as in like
that's it for me.
unless like if you make me drive, as in like I want to just wait till this thaws out. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to do this
Yeah.
anymore. I'm kind of scared.
I don't think I've ever got to a point, no matter how many sort of near misses you have in the job and whatnot. I mean, that was, like I say, that near miss was the first time I thought I'm dead. I've had plenty
That
of
sounds
like,
awful. Yeah.
yeah, it is insane, but that was the first time I thought like genuinely I'm about to die. Whereas all the other ones have always been, oh fuck, I'm about to go up his arse, or anything like that. You kind of have those thoughts, but I've never had anything happen to me where I've thought I'm done with the job.
That's it now. I can't do it.
No,
Yeah.
I've not got to that point.
The only time I've ever had that is in the Ro-Ros, is trying to load up Ro-Ros, and then it's like felt a bit sketchy when I was really early on. And if they go wrong, they can go wrong, like really wrong. And honestly, it's just, that's the only time I've ever been that scared that I've been like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'd quite happily go back to my own lorry and never touch this again. But my manager was like, no, you've got to do this. It's like, it's almost like getting on a horse or something. You've got to, if you fall off, you've got to get back on. Otherwise, you're going to have that fear and just not be able to do it. It's almost like the same.
Yeah.
But
The worst
other than
kind of-
crashes, I've never had that.
The worst
Near
kind of
misses,
fear
but
I've
nothing like
thought
that.
about something that I don't want to do is when I was driving tippers, and I had a lot of teaching from my dad about tippers.
Yeah.
But I had one time where it was extremely windy and I was tipping gypsum. Now you're on concrete,
Oh, no.
absolutely fine. It's not a
Yeah.
problem. I've tipped it many times. And as I lifted it up, I noticed that the trailer was leaning heavily to one side.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, fuck, it's all on one side. And
Yeah.
you just kind of get to this point where you can't shunt it out because there's so much in there. Because obviously it's 28 ton. So it's a case of just lifting it up and hoping it all comes out. Which is great fun. And as I lifted it up, it was very windy and it was sort of pushing it. I'm like, oh, come on, I don't need this right now. This is
awful.
dodgy.
That feels
Your stomach's kind of
horrible.
in your
Yeah.
vagina, just like, no, please.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
But as I lifted it up, I was like, you are hawk-eyed watching this, like just going, if it starts leaning too much, it's coming back down. But to be honest, once it goes over, there's fuck all you can do about it anyway. But I had hay bales on either
got
side
brace,
of me.
haven't you?
Yeah, I had hay bales on either side of me and loads of them. So I thought if it goes over, it'll land softly over there. Lovely job. So I lifted it up, and as I got about halfway up, fucking massive load of it came out. And I watched it spring back into place.
Oh, that's
and I
horrible.
did shit myself ever so slightly because I thought, oh fuck, it sprung back so hard that with the wind, I thought it was just going to go the other way. But luckily for me, it didn't.
Sounds awful. So I will tell you now, like, well, I think I've actually shown you guys the picture. So obviously now we're on this subject. Is the other reason like Ro-Ros are so scary is they do go. We in fact had one go. Was it yesterday I shared the picture?
Oh my God, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
when you give us a heart attack, my arse fucked off south somewhere when I saw that.
So anyway, more of the story, if you're going to share a crash picture and it's like the lorry that you drive potentially, maybe give them a little bit of context that it's not you.
Yeah.
Before sharing this
We're
video.
all like, are you okay? What
Don't
happened?
fuck off and do something else and be like, oh, sorry, guys. I forgot to say it wasn't me, and we're just all panicking.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm like
so-
zooming in a picture, and like, I'm just like, because she still hasn't responded to us. You know, maybe she
actually
took the
alive.
picture, maybe she took the picture and passed out, but she had to send it to us. All right,
Well,
okay, I
thought maybe
don't
she
recognize
took the picture
anything.
And got in the ambulance, you know.
Yeah, I'm like, here you go, guys.
She handed her
Bye-bye.
phone. She handed her phone to the ambulance dude or whatever. Can you take a picture of this, please, and can send it to my buddies? You know.
No, because I'd be like with a selfie then going, yeah. No, but it just goes to show like that was nothing as well. That was on level ground. There's no wind. There was like nothing. Even the waist was like normal. I don't know we don't even know what happened. He literally got it so far loaded on, like you say, to the point where it's literally up in the air and just coming off the ground. Obviously, this is loading, not like tipping or anything. And it just literally, just like that, the weight shifted and bang, straight on its side. Nothing you could do. There's no saving it. It's just, the reality is just things like just happen and you can't even anticipate it.
Surely there's something that can you have. It is preventable, isn't it? You could look at the load, you could look at the skip, you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can see what's inside it.
Nine times out of 10, as an experienced driver,
you'll feel
will
and you'll
always
know.
be able to tell or see what's going to happen to your load, especially with things like tippers or roros.
Yeah.
But you do get those odd occasions where, for example, the
Sometimes you
elements
just
are
can't.
against you,
Yeah.
or something is just escaped your notice, and it happens. You know, you could have done everything right, and it'll still happen.
The trouble with these roros as well, because they're very top heavy as it is. They're not like tippers where it's quite low sort of gravity space. You're very high up. It's all above. And if someone's like loaded up light waste and then they've put a big boulder on top or something like that, and you've loaded it and it's got to the point and it's just shifted, and that big thing's just gone, oh, I'm going over here now where there's a bit of space, and that's it. You're gone. There's nothing you can do. It's just so unpredictable. It's really one of those that you just... It's quite a shock when it happens. It's just, oh my God.
We had the same on tippers. You kind of had that, like, everything could have been dry and loaded right, and it was absolutely perfect. And then you'll get some of, like, fiberfoss. You'll tip it in the air with absolutely no bad conditions, nothing. You're on concrete. But because a massive pile of it has just decided to stick at the front, when 3/4 of it comes out, you'll watch the front end do that. Because
it's all sat up there.
So much weight.
Now, couldn't you like couldn't you shake
horrible.
it? Couldn't you shake the load before you actually really go up high?
I don't know how tippers work really. How do you?
So basically, with a tipper, you basically just open the back. Do your spinners. Make sure the back door is open, whether you got a manual or an automatic, and then you get in and you put the PTO up and you rev
it and just chuck it up,
and it lifts the trailer up. Now it comes up very, very slowly. In all fairness, it's not quick. The problem is legally you're not allowed to shunt with it in the air. You're not even supposed to move with it in the air. No.
See, with the roros we are.
Yeah, see, technically we are not allowed. Don't get me wrong, all drivers do. They all drive, they all get pushed forward. I mean, a lot of the time you'll take the handbrake off and you'll let the load push you forward. You won't even use an accelerator, and then the door will bang and lovely job.
And you know it's done,
but sometimes you might just get like a sticky patch of wet right at the top near the ram, which is obviously at the front of the trailer. And if you get a massive pile of, say, fiberfoss stuck there, it'll just stay up there. And all you can do is get it down about halfway and shunt it out.
Yeah.
Or do it while it's fully up, but that's very dangerous. You can burst a pipe.
Allegedly.
And then you'll watch the... so you'll have, like, the trailers up here, sort of thing.
Yeah.
What will happen if you burst the pipe is it'll go... and it give you a bit of a shock.
Smack. Yeah, that just sounds... See, that's the thing. You're up on one pillar. That just looks terrifying.
That's why you
to me.
can't
that
shunt
ram.
with weight in there, because that's what can happen.
How about like maybe you just go up a couple of feet and then you give a little shake? Just a couple.
So
not up high, obviously.
So
In
the
all
rower is
fairness-
separate because it's very sturdy. That won't happen with us. It's
See, in all
different
fairness,
mechanism.
with a tipper pretty much all the way down and shunting, it really doesn't do anything. The load
Yeah.
just stays
Again,
there.
I'm
Normally
just
most
trying to
of
tell
the
you how
time
to do
you've got
your
to get in
job
there
as
and
well,
you've got to dig
because,
it out.
You know.
Yeah, you've got to get in there with a shovel and start digging, singing hi ho.
I always feel like when you have these problems that has happened, surely there's without getting in and getting a shovel and all that, there's like how could it, everything's preventable. Every crash is preventable if all my stuff all the stupid stuff that I've done in my life, all preventable, mainly because I was young. I was young, and I was cocky, and I just feel like, I know what I'm doing. And it's just now that I'm old and experienced, I'm like, you're a fucking moron, David. the stuff that I would love. I don't know how I survived. Like 95% of my accidents and all that kind of thing happened in the first 3 years. All right, I learned all my lessons. I got a great education from all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, here's an example. One of the most. This wasn't a scary moment looking at it, all right? But it was a scary moment at that particular time. Now, I'm on the freeway, driving in a straight line. It's a little bit windy. Just a little bit windy, you know what I mean? As in, like, and just every time that I felt something, it was scary. Now, there was, it was new road, all right? And there was a little bit of a drop on the shoulder by, like, maybe an inch, 2 inches, okay? As in, like, so my trailer went a little bit to the right and went onto the shoulder, and then I felt my trailer just go hard right, basically, okay? But it didn't. But it didn't, is the thing.
It just felt like it had.
It just felt like it. But in my youthful, you know what I mean? As a new driver, I thought that the whole thing was going to go. And like, for years I did. For years I did. And because I seriously was telling a story like I was like, this is a great story. I nearly got into an accident. My trailer nearly went flying all whatever. Right? No, it didn't. It was. But I didn't know. Worst thing that would have happened is
it was
that
a real thing. Yeah.
Worst thing that would have happened is that it would have been a little bit to the right. It would have gained traction eventually. You know what I mean? It just felt like I was shaking. I was basically driving on top of the double white line, keeping it well away from that shoulder because I honest to God I was so scared that I was like, how is this legal and everything. No, I'm just an inexperienced driver.
Thing is, in the moment, especially inexperienced, any kind of, like say, if you're driving an empty curtain cider in the wind, that is going to shit you up.
Oh God,
not great. It's not great. It's not a great feeling. You know, as an experienced driver, you'll go,
to learn, isn't it?
you know, yeah. I mean, one of the first times I ever drove in the wind, I had another curtain cider come past me. And it was windy to the point where my hands were like red from holding on to the steering wheel.
Yes.
You know exactly what I mean. And basically what happened is this truck come past me and it like suctioned both of us together almost.
Wow.
No.
And I just felt the lorry being pulled leftwards and I'm, no. So I went into the outside lane because he was, that was it. He was joining from a slip road and it became another lane. So I was in the second lane and I went out into the outside lane. I was just hoping to God there was nobody in it because the way we got pulled together really shat me up. Now, as an experienced driver, I know that as long as I just hold it steady, we would have been fine. I didn't need to go out into the outside lane the way I did. But for me at the time, I was like, holy fucking shit, we're about to crash.
Yeah, everything
like,
little in that stage is terrifying. Yeah.
And it is terrifying, 100%. Yeah. I do feel for newbie drivers, although half the time I'm wishing they'd get out of my fucking way.
That is probably you want to sit.
It is hard to be patient with new drivers.
It really is, and sometimes
you always sit there and you go,
just put your foot down.
If I've got a learner in front of me, I always, without fail, say, I understand you need to learn. I do. But why do it in front of me? Fuck off.
I felt awful on Friday yesterday. I was pulling out of a big roundabout, and obviously I was clear to go, so I started pulling out, and I saw junction opposite was pulling out a brand new Arctic driver. There was only him and someone else, and he was going like that steady. I thought, I hope he's not in his test, because he pulled out, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna cut me up. So I was like, right, I need to hold right back, because if he's on his test, he's going to fail. And I was like, hold us back and just make it look like I'm going really slowly. So I held right back, and I really hope that he,
bless your heart,
passed that, because I felt awful. I was just like, you poor bugger, like, he could have had so much room. Why
God,
did you
know
go then?
what? Talking of tests, I genuinely thought I shouldn't be a lorry driver.
Did you? Why?
Yeah, so
Explain.
I'd done my rigid test. So I'd been out doing the 4 days of training, and I enjoyed it, and I was fine. I knew what I was doing, it was good. And then I went and done my test, and I ballsed it up, and I failed first time. Okay, whatever, fine, redone it.
Average, you're gonna fail. It's fine.
I ballsed that up so bad. Like, the second one was just stupidly bad, and the examiner I had was a dickhead, in all fairness.
That doesn't help your nerves. No,
it doesn't. And I remember ringing my dad, crying, going, I don't think I'm supposed to do this. I shouldn't be a lorry driver. And this is something I'd been like dying to do for the last 3 years.
Yeah,
before I'd done it.
So you're really passionate about it.
Yeah, ever since my dad picked me up from school when I was like 17. Well, he picked me up from college in the lorry, and I went out with him, and so I've been dying to do it ever since then. And I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to do this, and my dad went, stop being a fucking pussy and just go out there and drive. You know you can. So I walked in there the next time.
Tough love is needed.
My dad's told me to stop being a pussy, and I did. I passed.
Nice one. Yeah.
My instructor was so pissed at me because she was like, you should have passed the first time. You were fine.
Sometimes the nerves get the better of you. Yeah.
But the class 1 was the funniest. So I went out and I had the head examiner. He was known for being strict. I was my nerves are jumbled up. This was the one I was most excited for. I'd only had my rigid license 9 months, so I was like, oh my god, I can't wait. And I went out and I'd done the test, and I come up to a roundabout. I don't count this way roundabout, Chloe.
Yes.
As if you're coming from town and you've got the garage on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
So when you come up to this roundabout, it's the one where it's
this
got
is notorious roundabout, David.
Yeah, it's got the arrows on the road. You've got traffic lights all the way around the roundabout. It's that kind of one.
You've got hatchings. You've got everything to look out.
So
this
basically,
roundabout.
the rules of this roundabout is even though nobody fucking does it because it's got arrows on the road, you are supposed to indicate on this roundabout. Doesn't matter if you're stopped on one of the traffic lights in the roundabout, you're supposed to indicate. I got to the first bit of the roundabout, so like the entrance, and I moved up to the next bit where the traffic light was. So it was about a quarter of the way around the roundabout. And I went, oh fuck, and flicked my indicator on because I forgot to put it on. I was sat there and I went, I failed. I've just failed that because I didn't have my indicator on. And I was dying inside. I was crying inside. Because I was like,
did you say it out loud then?
No,
I
went, oh fuck, out loud and flipped the indicator on. And my examiner looked. Now, in all fairness, I had a terrible time of it. I had a cyclist in the truck lane. I had cars cutting me up. I had all sorts happening whilst I was out on my test. And even my examiner poked his head out the window and shouted at this cyclist. Because even he said to me, he was like, look, I understand you're having a bad time, just keep going. And I was just sat there going, I've failed. Obviously I've failed. This is fucking shit.
You just got to take it as experience.
And I was already crying by the time I'd pulled up.
Oh no.
And my instructor came over and opened the door and she saw my face. And the examiner turned around to me and went, right, I'm pleased to tell you. And I went,
that you didn't kill yourself?
that
we're alive? Oh, you passed. Okay.
But whenever they either say, I'm sorry to inform you, or I'm pleased to tell you.
Yeah, they're very formal, aren't they, on it?
So as soon as he said that, I kind of breathed in a relief and then started crying again. And he went, you thought you'd failed, didn't you? And I was like, yeah. Like, how the hell did I pass?
But saying that, you're in that much of a state, you probably drove really sensibly and concentrated on what you did. And
he said to me that if I hadn't put my indicator on when I did, I would have failed.
Really?
He said that he gave me the benefit of the doubt, the fact that I acknowledged it and I turned it on immediately. So that was fun.
I was gonna say that I had well, mine obviously wasn't as bad as that. Mine was more so like I fudged up on the first, rigid. I hit a roundabout and I pulled out because someone wasn't indicating properly, and they gave me the benefit of the doubt. And he was like, you know what? The rest of the drive was amazing. You're fine. You passed. So then I got up to my class one like a month later, and I literally, the same bloody roundabout. I had the same instructor, which was sound, and same bloody roundabout. I did the same bloody thing. And that was like the first roundabout coming out of the test station as well. So it's like, and straight away I was just like, I fucked up there, didn't I? And straight away just admitted it. I was like, do you know what? I fucked up. I've realised what I've done. Held my hand up. And again, he was sound. He was like, do you know what? Yeah, you admitted. You realised the mistake. The rest of the drive was brilliant. I'm not going to fault you on that. I think it literally
is like, I think it's that realising, because like you say, I had the head examiner. I should have failed that by the fact that I didn't enter the roundabout with my indicator on, but he passed me. And I think it's because you've understood your mistake and rectified it. Whereas most of the time when you fail, like when I failed both my rigid tests, well, to be fair, I knew where I'd failed on the second one. It was a fucking disaster. I mean, I literally hit a branch that smashed into the fucking side of the truck. And I made my instructor jump.
Surely.
Yeah, it was just a really bad time. But the first one, I didn't actually know where I'd failed. I can't even remember where I failed now. I couldn't tell you. So I think it is that knowledge.
You're allowed to ask?
You've understood what happened.
Why you failed? Surely they'd give you a bit of a...
I think they do tell you, but sometimes you're completely shocked and don't take things in. Because, David, when you do your test, have you got to... So obviously if we hit a curb as well, that's an instant fail.
Yeah.
Is that very much the same as
yours? You have minors. You have, you can get up to 15 minors on a car test.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like with a truck. I can't remember how many minors you can
I
get.
can't remember.
Might even be the same. But then you have your majors. If you get a major, you fail immediately. But if you get under
And then you've
15
got
minors,
sections as well. You've got certain
Yeah.
sections of different types
Yeah.
of driving things. Whereas if you get so many in a certain section, you fail instantly. Like
Yeah.
3 in a section, is it? 3 minors in a
something
section.
like that,
That's
I
it.
think. Yeah.
It's
honestly,
crazy.
I can't remember what it's like. There is, I think there is a points. There's like he's got his clipboard, and you know when you see his hand move, you did something. You know what I mean? As in, like, I think what was it? The only thing on my there's kind of 2 tests. I don't know if all schools do this, but in my school there's the school test and then there's a DMV test. Basically, you can't. It's DMV meaning the government test, and the school test is done by one of your instructors. All right, and they won't let you go on to actually test until you've completed their test, because what's the point if you can't complete the school test, you can't then you're not going to be able to complete the DM, you know what I mean? Okay. And it's actually, again, I think I brought this up one time before. It was one of my most proudest moments in my entire life, because a week into truck school I quit because, like, nope, just like yourself, Rebecca, I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be a truck driver. I can't do this. This is too scary. I was just back in America a month, because I moved to America in 2000. I was there for a year and 2 years, I believe, and then I went back to Ireland for like a year, and then went back to America again. All right, 9/11. When 9/11 happened, I was like, yeah, you want to move to Ireland? Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. America was not the most. It's kind of the kind of place that you're just like, maybe we shouldn't be here. All right, because we don't know. But anyway, so it was an excuse to move back to Ireland. But anyway, again, it was like whatever. So I'm only back in the country a month, and I'm still making mistakes of what side of the road to drive on. All right, it just wasn't that natural, you know.
Yeah.
But I quit, and I was like, the guys said, You're being a pussy. Shut the fuck up. Come on, let's do this. All right. Basically, and it was basically
in so
like
many
that.
words. He said it.
In so many ways. Like I literally haven't even seen the inside of a truck yet. All right, and I already quit. I quit because the DMV has 4 tests that you do on a computer. You know, your multiple choice questions or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I failed every one of them. All right, I couldn't get a grasp on it. Air brakes was so hard for me to comprehend, and everything was the coupling. It was just. Everything was just so hard.
It's
I just
a
didn't
lot
understand
to take on
it.
when you first start, though,
you know what I mean?
isn't
But it was like, no, dude, you don't actually have to have passed them. You just need to pass them before you actually do your final test. I'm like, well, couldn't maybe they did say that. I just have pretty bad ADHD, and I don't always hear everything that is being spoken to me. Like, I'll ask someone a question, and I don't even know what the answer was. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ, David, come on, get your shit together. But anyway, but I did. So I did the test, but I ended up getting 100% in my actual driving test, which was actually unknown. No one ever got 100% in their driving test. All right, so
That's really good.
And so I was like, oh. Very proud of myself.
Maybe I'm all right.
Oh yeah, maybe I should do this. And it turns out, I just have a different way of learning. I'm more of a hands-on learner. And but again,
no, I get that.
You know, so like the backing was easy for me. The driving, the shifting, everything. Like for some reason, as soon as I got into the truck, everything just made sense. You know what I mean? It's just that before it didn't make any sense whatsoever. And I'm like, what do you mean double clutch?
You've
and
got
you
to
got to
be
clutch
doing
first,
it, haven't you?
You got to rev it up.
Like,
I'm
when I got in a truck, or even in an Arctic, like the moment I got into an Arctic, it just made sense how the lorry moves, where it goes,
it
what
really
distance
does,
I need to do.
it?
I just got it. You know, even
Because
the
it looks
reversing.
really daunting, doesn't it? But
Yeah,
it's not
it
that
does. But I had
See, I struggled with the reversing at first. I was literally in tears. I don't know why I struggled so
Really?
much. Now it's fine, but at the time, I you know when you just keep overthinking, you're like, I just can't do it, and I was in hysterics. And then luckily on my test day, I literally did the most unbelievably perfect reverse that I've never been able to do to this day. And that was it. I got out and they're like, we don't even need to check your line. I was like, sweet, is that good, is it? They were like, yep, perfect.
Do you know what
brilliant.
I did on my Arctic test?
What?
So I done everything. Like the reverse was perfect. I've always prided myself on my reversing in any vehicle. My dad was like, you're going to drive properly. So I learned how to drive. I could reverse as well as I can drive forward, you know, in anything that I do, which is why I fucking hate these cameras at the moment because I can't reverse straight.
Really?
Yeah, I can't reverse straight at all with these cameras. So when you were dropping the trailer, now bearing in mind, The one thing I had been doing constantly for a good year or so was dropping and connecting trailers because of my dad. I was going to work with him. I learned how to do it without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
I got on my test and I forgot to pull out the kingpin.
Okay.
So
See,
I tried to pull forward and I'm like, why is it not coming out? Why is it not coming out? What have I not done? What have I not done? And I'm wandering around, I'm like, what have I not done? I look like a twat. And I started panicking. And I'm like, how can I get that wrong out of everything? And matey boy just turned around to me and went,
though.
yeah, the examiner just went, just need to pull your kingpin out. And I was like, oh my God, I failed already. He went, it's not part of the test, love. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm like,
You just failed at life, not the test.
I'm just really, I think when it comes to, yeah, I did fail at life. When it comes to tests, I get overly nervous, which is like, it's odd because
Quite daunting though.
With all of my like driving tests or like even when I rode my motorbike, so each one I've done, I've gotten better minors wise. So when I done my car test, I got 13 minors. So I just passed because you can get 15. And then I got into my class 2, failed it twice, passed on the third go, and I had like, I don't know, 8 minors.
Surely you're used to failing at this point, yeah?
Yeah.
It just comes naturally.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is each of them I passed first time except the class 2. Everything else I passed first time. But I got like sort of 8 minors on my class 2 when I finally passed. Class 1 I only got about 5. I only got about 5 minors.
I failed my car test the very first my first time.
But
again, yeah. It was just
I went and done my motorbike
I passed
test.
them all. Woo! First time.
Well, what age were you when you got your car test, Chloe?
24.
Okay, I was 17. And he basically was watching me like with a microscope, basically a fine-tooth comb. He was looking at. I don't even know why I failed.
Oh,
to be honest with you.
really?
I really don't know why I failed. But
See,
I did.
half the time I wasn't even looking at the mirrors. We just get told. My instructor just said, no matter what, make sure it looks like you're looking at the mirrors. He's like, even if you're not, just make the head movement. And a lot of it is just like that. Make it look like you're being obvious, and then they'll just go, yeah, they checked.
When you're in the car, you do not do that. Do you?
No.
Let's face it, that's probably more dangerous because you're not looking at the road.
You just have a glance,
Whereas
don't you?
you just have a quick glance, yeah.
Yeah.
But my dad always said, if you look in one, look in the other.
Make it obvious. Yeah.
Every 7 seconds,
obvious.
he wants to see you looking up at the mirror. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, even if you're not looking at it, just literally just go like stare around and stuff. That's
what I mean with that negativity. Like when you go, so like probably the easiest one I've had is a motorbike test because you don't have the instructor next to you as such. They're on a bike behind you. So
yes,
you think
they
you
don't.
get to
Yeah, you
relax
can lose
them
them
watching you. So now, bearing in mind, I'd already ridden motorbikes. I knew what I was doing. I went and done my test. And when we pulled up, he went, "How do you think that went?" And I went, "Terrible, terrible, fucking terrible. It went badly. It went so bad." And he went, "You got no minors."
Really?
Did you get a major?
And I got nothing. I
yeah,
passed and I've
you
got
failed. No minors,
no
but
minors.
you failed.
Yeah, no minors, no majors. I'd passed, and I thought it was terrible. And he laughed at me because I thought it was so bad, but it was actually a perfect ride.
That's all right, isn't it? But then they, as well, the motorbike one as well, because you can lose them effectively if you
I did.
At a junction, you get lost.
I did.
They can't see what you're doing.
I went left at the lights. I'd gone through a yellow light, basically.
So that's what happened. You went and did your fails, and he didn't see it. So you had a few
he saw me
few majors, nearly crashed that guy.
Yeah,
took out him, hit the curb, but all good.
Go through the yellow light, and you have earpieces in, so they can talk to you.
Okay.
So they can tell you which exit, which junction to take, whatnot. So basically, it was green as I was heading towards it, and it went yellow, and I thought, I don't have enough time to stop, so I kept going. But he had to stop behind me, and he said to me, "Just pull over on the left, Rebecca." Luckily, I pulled up fine anyway, but that was the only bit he wouldn't have seen if I had fucked it up. And then they just come round and they pull up behind you, and then they go, "Right, we'll pull off," and you go.
And off you go.
It was actually a really nice ride, but I was pretty sure I went over the speed limit. I went through the yellow light. I'm sure I was fucking up. So I'm overly negative, yeah. But when I actually do it, ride a bike, drive a truck, I'm fine. Absolutely fine.
In America, I wouldn't say in America, but in Washington State, when I did my motorcycle license, you just had to do I think it was only 2 days training, and at the end of the training, you passed your test. Basically.
Really? So you don't even have a test effectively. You just
basically there was like a slight little test at the end where you had to do a figure 8, and that was it. Without putting your foot down. I think.
That's
Yeah.
just
I
like
think
our
that's what it is.
CBT.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we done
it
that.
was,
We do that on the other motorbikes test as well. Whether it's the A2 or A, you do like a figure of 8,
Yeah,
and
you just
you go
basically
in
drive for a
between the
day.
cones
Yeah.
and go do a U-turn and whatnot without putting your foot down.
So you
Well,
still
that
have
was
to
it. We
drive-
never
you-
actually
you-
went on the road.
You limited.
Did you
Really?
not?
So-
No, we never
That's
went on the road at
crazy.
all. Yeah,
Oh
we just
wow!
stayed in
And
the
then
So
what
parking
is
you
lot.
have you have two separate ones. You
yeah.
have your one where you do
is
your
that
figure
a
of
full
8.
license? David, is that a full
Sorry?
license then? Is that your
Yeah,
full
full
license?
license. Yeah, full license
Wow.
for a motorcycle.
Oh
So
my
yeah, like
God.
Rebecca said, we've got 2. You got your CBT, which is where you get your learner plate,
Yeah,
and then you
and
get
then you
your
have
full
your
access,
A2.
don't you?
No, you
Yeah.
have your A2, and
Oh,
then you've
do
got
you
your
now?
A. Yeah, your A2 is you can ride up to a 400, unless you're over 24 and you can go straight for your direct access. But if you're
That's
under
it. That's what I was thinking
24,
of.
you've either got to be riding for 2 years before you can do your A, or you've got to be 24.
Wow.
Gotcha. We don't need, like
So many more
I,
hoops.
I got my permit. I don't know, was it legal to drive? Because I bought my motorcycle. It was like it was a low powered one. It was Kawasaki Ninja 250, and
Nice.
very excited. So I did drive it to the nearest parking lot, and the great thing about this parking lot is that there was a crazy huge hill on it. All right, so that
Yeah.
having it being a crazy huge hill allowed me to practice my the balancing, because I can shift just like, but now I'm shifting with my hands and my foot. You know what I mean? So it's a little different. But anyway, like I got to learn my balance, and it was everything. So, and I drove around, and again, a Ninja 250 is it's a perfect starter bike. All right, it has the speed. All right, but it doesn't have the speed of a 1000cc, where I could not do a wheelie for the life of me. Not that I tried. I just you just can't. You
It doesn't give enough power
on
to
on a regular motorbike. Then all you have to do is just gun it, and your wheel goes up. You know
You're
what I mean?
right.
But that's the great thing about the Ninja 250. Eventually it became, sadly to say, it became kind of too slow for me. I was like, oh, everyone else is going so fast, But still, the power that you get, it was something unreal. That how quick you can get from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
And
good
I
fun.
just found that very like if I'm what it would be like on an actual fast bike, But yeah.
Thing is, you do that with, especially if you enjoy speed. I've done exactly the same. I jumped from a 125 to a 600, and then I got bored of the 600. So
Oh wow, you got bored of 600.
yeah,
Bloody
it wasn't. I am very much like, I've done the same with my cars.
What have
Every
you
time
got
I
now then?
What bike?
Yeah.
I don't have a big bike at the moment. I've got a baby blade in the garden, which is
nice.
more of an investment, because it's a 1991 Jap import. There weren't many of those. There's not many of them left in the country now, as far as I know.
The last
okay,
bike
so it's a
that
little
I actually
project.
drove was MV Augusta is what it is. It basically has a Ferrari engine, and and I do believe that my friend wanted me to die. I was like, for shits and giggles, I just said, hey, I'm actually heading over to this particular town, as in like, hey, throw me your keys. And he threw me my keys. I'm like, I'm kidding. No, take it. Dude, I haven't ridden in like 6 months. You'll be fine. And I'm like,
You're right.
seriously. I'm like, all I've driven before is the 250. I trust you.
You'll be
And, like,
fine.
but I just feel like, I trust you to die.
Yeah.
See,
And
I've
like,
only
Yeah.
I've only
dad's
ever
got-
had yeah, go on.
I was going to say, my dad's got a 900 Fireblade that I'm having.
Oh, nice. You can have it.
Oh yeah, it's basically mine.
Nice.
I just got to buy it off him.
Right, I thought you were just gonna steal it. Fuck
No,
it, I'm
no.
taking it to
I
work
have
today for
sat
the week.
on it. I have sat on it. The thing is, the good thing with the Hondas is it fits my height, and it's not too heavy either.
I do like.
And
like
that does go some. It's lovely.
Yeah, I bet. The most I've ever driven. The only motorbike I've ever had was a Suzuki Van, which is like had the big beastie back tire.
Yeah,
And it was only
Okay.
like 150 or something, and it was brilliant. It was good fun. For me, it was perfect.
Yeah.
I'm too scared of
would love-
speed, so
I would love
No,
to try
too
the
dangerous.
motocross ones. The dirt bike ones.
that does look
Yes.
fun. Yeah.
I'd
It does look
love
like
to
a
do
lot
it.
of fun.
I'd love to do it, but have you ever stood next to one of those bikes? They literally come up to about my chest.
Oh,
not
Really?
great.
okay.
They are big, aren't they?
They
You
are
can-
so big.
They have
You
kid
are
size
quite
ones.
little. You could get a little monkey one. You know the little monkey train
No.
ones.
Do you remember the mini motors? Like, when the mini motors were all in fashion?
Yeah, stand on them.
Yeah. But no, I remember doing the jump from the 125 to the 600. So I got really bored of the 125, really bored of it. And my dad bought me a Honda Hornet 600, Lovely Street Fighter
Nice.
bike. Beautiful. I think it was a
like the Street
1990
Fighters.
something. Had like the big one front light. It was a gorgeous little bike.
Yeah.
And he basically let me ride it from his house back to mine. And I rode it up and down a little bit up the street, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Got out on the road, opened up the throttle, and I'm like, oh my god! And I was like trying to get as low down as possible, even though it's got no wind deflector or anything.
It's where you've like put the throttle on so much you can't take it off because you're back here somewhere.
And I remember my dad was following me, and I was riding fairly sensibly, in all fairness. And then I got level with him, and I watched him do that, and it was just basically saying, look, if you want to go, enjoy it.
Go.
Oh no.
So I fucking did. I just opened it up and shot off. And obviously, bearing in mind, a 600 isn't stupidly fast to me now, but at the time, all I'd ridden is a 125. It only went up to 60.
No, I imagine, that's absolutely
Yeah, so I
a
opened it
huge
up.
That's a big
difference.
difference.
Fucked off.
Yeah.
And I met my dad in Exeter because I weren't slowing down for no one. It was so much fun. I was loving it. Did not go over 70, obviously.
I was on the back of
Obviously.
my buddy's bike one time, and he did.
Oh, I hate that feeling.
Just to see what it was like to be on the bike. 'Cause I've
Yeah.
never literally been on a bike ever before in my life, and
Okay.
he gunned it. He gunned it hard. I've never gripped onto
that
my
sounds
body
awful.
ever so hard before in my life. It
I
was. I honestly
You don't
thought I
have
thought it was going to fall
control,
off.
though. It's scary, yeah. Like my
Yeah.
mate in Manchester, they used to travel Manchester and back and that. She used to go on her partner's like the back of it, and she'd fall asleep on there. It's like, how can you fall asleep
so
on the back of it? How?
I had the same. Like if I went on the back of my dad's bike, I could have my hands resting on my knees quite comfortably. They would give you a tap for you to wrap your arms around them if they're going to speed down the motorway, for example. But on a whole, you can just put your hands on your knees and just chill.
See, I've done it once,
but with
and it
my
was an awful
ex,
experience.
I could not hold on because
There's a reason
he
he's your
thought
ex.
it was cool to gun it everywhere, and I nearly came off the back a couple of times. And it was, for
Oh.
somebody
Oh, no, that sounds
I
horrible.
knew I wanted to ride motorbikes since I was a little girl. So I think that's the only reason I wasn't frightened away from them, because
Yeah.
otherwise that would have. Whereas I knew I wanted to ride, so
That
it
sounds
didn't.
awful.
Yeah, honestly, there's
that's
nothing
not
like
fun.
being on the back of the bike and your arse sliding at the back of the seat, and you think, "Oh,
Oh
fuck, I'm off."
no! Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
awful.
Or you get off and the backs of your hands are cramped closed and the backs of your knees are cramped.
Oh
and you're just like,
no, that sounds
"Ah,
awful. Just from holding on from
Yeah.
Oh no, that sounds.
That's what you get
that
for
does not
dickhead.
sound fun.
Yeah, that's dickhead riders for you though. So
My buddy who gave me the motorcycle one time just to take a little ride. For some reason we were talking about speed, and I've never been in a fast car before. I've been a passenger in a fast car, but never a fast car. So he actually in the driveway, he actually parked behind me with his Porsche, and he ended up fucking off somewhere to lunch and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, dude, anybody who ever left or everyone who ever parked always kept their keys on the counter. All right, doesn't matter who you were. So if you ever usually I would just hop into someone's car, but this was a Porsche. I'm like, dude, I need to move your car. Can I move? Can I move your car? And he was like, yeah, no, keys in the car. All right, cool. So I backed out of the driveway.
Well, I just kept going.
4 miles later, I parked it on the street. So but like it was so nice.
Did
I've
you
always
come
wanted
back
to drive
in
a
going,
Porsche.
I couldn't work out your gears. I was sat there for a while trying to figure out.
yeah, trying to figure out.
Oh, he wasn't there. He wasn't there. He actually went
okay.
up to lunch with another friend. But I don't know.
So you
but
probably sat
so
there
there's
going, that's
something,
my Porsche going by.
Absolutely. My roommate, he had a Mustang. He had like a 5-liter. It was kind of like
Oh,
an
I do
86
like the Mustangs.
Mustang, right? But I've never. Again,
Yeah.
he drove like there was no law. It was absolutely like holy crap, And then he like eventually I wanted to ride it, but then he ended up upgrading to a newer Mustang, and he was like, actually, you know what? I only got 2 days left with this other Mustang. Do you want to finally get that test drive? And when you're
Really?
driving it,
Oh,
you honest to
God.
God feel I just ignore it. I couldn't. It's like there was no law. I was weave in between traffic. I was an absolute douchebag. I just couldn't
Yeah.
help but be a douchebag.
Yeah,
I just had to
there
go
are
for it.
some
You've just got the power, haven't you?
There
Oh
are
my
some
God,
cars
it
that
was
get in them and you just
absolutely
become
ridiculous.
a fucking dickhead.
Now,
I used to have an Audi
it had
A3 and I
it
was
had
the
the
same.
sound. The engine
Yeah.
had the sound and everything, right? But what doesn't have the sound are the Teslas. All right, the Teslas destroy the Mustang. they absolutely destroy the Mustang when it comes to power. All right, I've rented them. I've rented the Teslas, and it's very hard not to go slow.
But that's where
from
you
stop to go.
realise. That's where you realise that sound does matter, because getting in, say, an electric car that is clearly faster than your diesel car, I don't care. I
Still
want the
not
one
as
that
fun.
I want
Yeah.
the one that roars, not the one.
But
that
those are
goes,
the ones that actually cause attention, as in like a cop will actually look at you. But when a
What,
Tesla
you're in a
is speeding
Tesla or
really
the-
quickly,
Oh, okay.
sorry,
I think
when
I
a
kinda-
Tesla
I-
is speeding really quickly, nobody really cares.
They
Nobody
don't
knows.
acknowledge
I
it,
kind
yeah.
of get that half and half, where because I ride motorbikes, I want something loud so people can see me and hear me.
Yeah.
Whereas if you
When
have
I was
something
younger,
quiet,
yes.
nobody
When I
knows
was
you're coming.
younger, I wanted everything to be loud. I would always keep it in the lowest gear going through a tunnel. You know, I mean, like I would just.
Oh, I mean for safety purposes. If I'm speeding, I'd
Oh.
rather they can hear me, so that they don't pull out. Whereas if I'm silent, especially on say like a motorbike, and they
Yeah,
don't
people
notice me,
don't
if they
look for you
hear
at
me
all.
first, yeah, like if you hear a roar, you automatically look towards
You're looking
it.
for a motorbike. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas if you don't hear anything, then you just see a car come shooting past you. You think, fucking lucky I didn't pull out enough.
In California, your motorcycles are allowed split lanes at a certain speed, like a stop and go traffic. They're just weaving it in and
Filter.
out
Oh, okay.
between
Yeah.
the.
Filter.
Yeah, that's what we can
Oh,
do.
okay. You're allowed. Okay, yeah, but as like, so if you're all in stop and go traffic, are you allowed go through?
We can filter up to 30 mile an hour.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Although
you could
people
do, that, yeah.
not like it, I've discovered.
No, they don't. And quite a lot, like if I filter through traffic, most of the time it's because the traffic is pretty much stopped or stopped.
Yeah.
I don't
But
tend
you
to do
do
it if
get
we're
the odd
actually
idiot
going.
that
But you
pulls
will
into
get
the
most of the
middle of the road for
motorbikes
you.
will fly up the middle of the cars. I mean, most of us take it quite gently, but there will be quite a few that ride very quickly. And the amount of times you'll see a car go to move over into the outside lane because they think it's quicker, even though we're all doing 10 mile an hour. But they'll do it with no indicator on, and the bike will
And
nearly
they'll
get
just do it.
yeah, they'll nearly get taken
Yeah,
out.
like
or a
all the
door.
motorcycles are just basically kind of going whatever 15, 20 miles an hour, just just getting
Yeah.
as loud as possible. Basically, it's like them beeping, like I'm coming
Yeah,
through.
that's
you know?
basically what you tend to do. You'll get them rev the bikes to basically say to people, "I'm coming through. Don't move over. Don't open your door like a dickhead," because they do it. And a lot of the time you'll get cars that'll move over a little bit for the bikes and whatnot. But yeah, I mean we can filter it, but it's up to 30 mile an hour, I think, which is quite quick.
It's quite
All right,
quick.
you know what?
Usually
Around this point, Tom would actually go as like, okay, right. All right, I think
He would.
we're coming
Yeah.
close to the end of the show.
We are. Yes,
But
Tom.
we
Yes,
haven't.
we are.
Okay, so there's a few stuff that we haven't done yet. So for the 10 people who actually have lasted this long, with our
I mean,
podcast,
have we done a
because-
topic yet, though?
No. Should we start the topics? What was your
Should
topic?
we-
Did you
I
have a
can't even
topic?
remember.
I kind of had. I
No.
kind of had a topic too, but we just kind of went with it, didn't we?
We just went with it. Yeah. I
I'm
don't-
sorry.
Yeah.
What happened? We haven't got a producer. We haven't got Tom, so we just went. We
Well,
went. you know,
Rebecca was
rogue.
supposed to keep us in line and keep us on track.
Hey,
she was
we
the host.
did trucks.
We
did
just
motorcycles.
we just got.
We spun.
Yeah.
We just got to motorbikes by the end, and I'm sorry for all the people that don't like motorbikes.
I think.
We talked about football the other day. I wouldn't worry.
Oh my god,
that was
that's
a
right.
lot.
Yeah, that's where I would have left. See you later.
I can't believe we did that.
Yeah, I think we got snow and rain and
We
near
did.
deaths. We got the tests.
Ah, you know
I
what?
think
I
we
think it was a
covered
very
a
good
lot.
trucking podcast, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah.
very on
did
point.
good.
Are you guys up to par with Wrexham? Or is it, what's it called? Something Wrexham?
Oh yes, have you still been watching it? Yeah.
Oh,
hell is Wrexham?
I've been
absolutely.
watching it.
Now,
Oh,
are you watching it
Rebecca,
knowing the
you've
results
gotta
already
watch
before
it.
you watch it?
What's Wrexham?
No, so I don't know. So right, so you know Ryan Reynolds and what's the other guy called?
Rob something or another. I can't think of
Rob
his last
something.
name. It's
Basically, did you hear they took over Wrexham football?
Oh yeah, I've
About
seen
2
that
years
on
ago.
Disney Plus.
So
yeah.
it's actually really good. I don't like
Disney
football
Plus?
myself. It's
I
on
don't
Disney
like
Plus
football.
for us. But watch this. It's brilliant. It's really,
Is
really
it?
good. It's actually really good.
Oh, I
And
saw it.
I'm not a football fan,
it's,
but
it's football. I'm not watching it.
it's
Fuck that.
actually really good. It's just so good. And yeah, you definitely got to watch it. And yeah, we got it on
Yeah.
Disney Plus. What are you watching it on, David?
you had it. It's not. I don't think it's. Well, it's on Hulu for us.
Oh, okay, it's on
um,
Disney
Nearly
Plus.
everything's on Disney Plus now. Every time I go on there, I'm
Everything's
seeing
owned
new
by
stuff.
Disney.
Yeah.
I need to check to see if it is on Disney Plus. But
The new Thor's
anyway,
on Disney Plus. I've watched that now. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Have you
I did
finally
too.
watched it? Did you get to see his ass?
Oh, You did.
How good was
yeah.
that arse?
It was
Do you know
very
what?
good.
I am a huge Marvel fan. Massive.
Yeah.
I love what they've come out with. I don't even care about all the negativity of the new phase. I love the new phase. I
love
must
it. It's
admit,
brilliant.
Thor 4 had me riding on the precipice of, is this too much?
Is this too
Yes.
much of
It was
comedy or just?
I think it was because they had such a dark side of it with Jane.
It's
and
quite
with Gore.
scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Gore the God Butcher and with Jane, it was quite a dark, sad,
Ending as
storyline.
well.
But then
Yeah.
you had this: I'm gonna do the split while holding two things. Crazy.
That was Do you know, and there was bits I was like, this is like Flash Gordon. I was like, what's going on here?
No. Who is it? Oh fuck! What's his name that used to do the action? Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
yes,
Do you remember
yeah.
the
The
movies
splits.
he used to do? And he'd do that split
Yeah.
thing. That was a piss take for that.
He did that actually. He did
Is
that
that
in
what it
between two
was?
semi trucks. Have you seen that video where
No.
Jean-Claude
Oh,
Van
what
Damme?
was
There's
is
actually.
that the advert, the Coors Light advert? Is that one?
I don't
or-
think it's a Coors. I think it's a semi truck.
That's the only time I've ever liked him is those calls. Like,
He's doing the splits in between two trucks going down the road.
yeah.
So that was
that was what
that's bloody awesome.
that was
is.
what the piss take was for in Thor, and that's what I mean. You had
Right.
like this. You had this crazy.
But then he
funny
was on the
side.
ship with Quill, wasn't he? So he was
Yeah,
going
it
to
did-
pick up
the
on
thing is,
that old
I
school
thought-
stuff.
I thought the Guardians of the Galaxy bit was too short, and it was rubbish. In all fairness, the beginning bit. And I think the
wasn't much in
crazy
it.
funny stuff didn't mix well with the really sad dark stuff. They could have made the movie longer and just made it better, but they went for something
Yeah,
really short.
less than
Whereas
2
like Thor
hours.
Ragnarok, for example, because Hela was funny and the storyline was overly funny, it worked because there wasn't
Yeah.
anything overly too dark about it. So I think that's why, like, it's the first one I've watched where I've gone, that might have been too much. I think you're right in that, fairly.
But we still loved it. It was still
I
bloody
still
good.
loved it because it's Thor.
It's Marvel.
And where
It's
was
amazing.
Loki? That was the bit I was missing. I had no Loki sarcasm.
But Loki's
Well,
dead.
he died.
Well, he's
Sorry,
yeah, but-
that's not a spoiler. We know nothing.
no, he is. But that's what I mean. Is you're missing the Loki sarcasm that you had in the first three. It's the only reason I slightly like Dark World is because Loki's sarcasm in the ship. That's about it.
So this has suddenly gone downhill. This was so good and on point of
Oh
trucking,
my
and now
God,
it's
we were
gone
doing
Marvel.
so well.
Okay, all right. So, Chloe,
Yes.
what's on your T-shirt?
Can you see what's on my T-shirt?
We
It's our
have a
face,
new
David.
T-shirt design.
It's your face on my boob.
And Tom's face.
Chloe,
on
you're
the
not
other
even
boob.
on your own boob. You're in the middle. You're in the cleavage.
I'm in the best bit. That's why.
You're the sandwich. You sandwiched yourself on purpose, didn't you?
Yeah. So yes,
And
go
there-
and check out our T-shirts.
And how many are we limiting to them to only like maybe 50,000? Okay,
Yeah.
I would put a limit of 50,000 of
Very
these shirts.
limited.
All right, they're nearly gone. They're seriously. I'm looking
Yeah.
at the numbers right now. Oh,
Selling
it's
out.
49,871. Okay, so seriously,
David,
there's
just
a few
edit some
left.
numbers going down there.
I literally just bought 5 just to squish in 2 places.
Love it. That's.
Um,
I'm so worried at where that's going, but I'm loving it.
yeah,
And
and
there's also everything in there: t-shirts, jumpers.
and you can get it
Yeah.
at salmonslap.com. All right, and that's where you can get a lot of the merchandise. You can get Tom's merchandise too, except for Access.
If you really want it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do
and
it.
my game's not ready yet, so I don't, so I'm not even going to plug it.
Still. Oh, no.
It keeps getting rejected due to stuff that I have no idea what about. So it's just,
Oh,
yeah,
okay, so it's still a project in.
it's
motion.
minor stuff.
It will
It's still,
get
yeah,
there.
like
Well, me and you
but-
should
The
be.
suspense is still
be able-
going.
Me and you should be able to say we're doing
Are you-
something soon as well.
Well,
Are
we
you- yeah,
did
you guys are doing
mention it
something.
nearly last week, and then I
did.
thought better of it.
Oh,
But we can
oh.
mention
But isn't
it.
there two things?
Oh,
Isn't
well, I
there two
didn't,
things
no,
that
no,
you're
I
doing?
didn't speak to you guys. Yeah, there is.
No.
I didn't speak to you. So obviously, if
we've
you
got
listened last
something
week, yeah,
coming up, yeah, but not.
yeah, and
not
Tom's
yet.
already said it's another podcast, so we already know that much.
Oh.
Oh, spoilers!
All right. Okay, so
Right, yeah.
are we all going to do our variation of Tom? How
Oh
we
yeah, what's
how
he
we
say?
exit?
Oh shit! Are we
Hold on.
doing it in tandem? Are we all doing it in one hit?
Okay.
Might be a
Okay,
bit
so
weird.
What he
again, he
says.
likes
What
to,
does he say?
He likes to put the mic here and look at the camera. Hold on. If I turn this, this way.
Oh, he's turned it off.
There we go. Turned it off. Right. All right. Thank you. Hold on. What is it again? Thank you very much for listening.
You sound
Thank
very
you very
Irish,
much for
not very
listening. And if
Tom.
you haven't listened, how did you get this far? So no, is that what it is? Something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you're doing it.
So strap on. No.
How? No, that's at the end. Thank
That's
you
at
so
the
much
start.
for listening. If you haven't listened, for how did you get this far? And we will see you next week.
Next time.
Or next
That's
time.
right. That's right.
Something like that.
Okay. All right. Rebecca, have you got it memorized?
Go
yet?
on.
Oh, right, okay.
Your full Tom impression.
Come on now.
I've forgotten. I've forgotten already. What was it? Right. Oh, fuck, I've forgotten.
Thank you. Okay, actually, all right. Okay, Chloe's going to do it. Did you?
Chloe, you do it, and then I'll try.
All right. Thank you, so much for listening.
to hide your
And
face.
If you haven't listened, how did you get this far? And we will see you next time.
All right.
There you go.
And now let's
Okay,
use yours. Let's hear yours.
Thank you very much for listening. If you've gotten this far, how did you?
Why has he gone Scottish?
I was going for Cumbrian and
It's
it didn't
not that northern. I mean, I know he's ginger, but not all Scottish are ginger, might I just point out.
No, very true. And yeah, I was trying for the accent and it didn't work. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Amazing.
you got one more shot at it. Maybe two.
Okay.
Let's see.
All right. I've forgotten it again already. Right. Thank you very much for listening.
Back to Scottish again. If you haven't listened this far, is it? It's if you have
haven't
listened. Oh yeah.
Thank you
How
very
did
much
you
for
get this
listening.
Right.
No, come on.
Right. Thank you very much for listening.
Maybe don't do
And
the
she's
accent.
gone. Yeah, that's
Maybe just do your accent.
Right. Okay. Who are?
who are.
Who are? Right. Thank you very much for listening.
I don't know why you're Scottish.
Time. I wasn't.
Yeah, you were.
You
Thank
sound
you
like
very
over
much
the
for
engine.
listening. If
That's
you've
it.
gotten this far, I don't know how. Take care, because I can't remember the rest of the words.
All right, that's it. Take
I'm
care,
going to
guys.
see you next time. Bye
I'll
bye.
see you
Bye-bye.
next time. Bye bye.
Oh, that was hilarious.
stomach
Rebecca, have
hurts.
you got it in your cleavage as well? I was going to say that. Where is your microphone? Every time you move back, it was going with you. Where is
It's
it?
because it's on a dinner tray.
Oh, okay.
I honestly
okay.
thought you had it tucked in. I was like, well, that's almost it.
Oh, my stomach.
That was good. That was a great
All right,
ending. and
bye,
beginning.
guys.
I love it. Extra bonus
All right.
there.
Yeah.